The Rainbow Tower. Written by Alex Tymms. Illustrated by R H Stewart. Episode 36. Red. Jed was amazed. Ahead of him, through a gaping hole in the tower's side, was a bridge. It stretched out from the Rainbow Tower to the black skeleton of their neighbour. A flat bone deck was suspended under two huge multi-cord cables strung between the towers. The deck was held in place by smaller wires hung vertically from the cables. Jed marvelled at the simplicity and elegance of the structure. Workers were still busy on the bridge, and he could see Phillips hurrying here and there, making adjustments and ordering people to double-check connections, bolts and fastenings. Katie knelt down to examine the bone. "Marrying bone to concrete's always the tricky bit," Fox said to Katie. She nodded, but seemed impressed at the join. Fox then turned to Jed. "You set us a big challenge," he said. "I can't believe you've done it," Jed replied, and walked out onto the deck. The wind tugged at him as he cleared the building, but not enough to make him worry about falling off. At last they had a chance. "It's not as elegant as your mum would have made it, but it'll do," Phillips called to Katie as she followed Jed out onto the bridge. She half smiled at him in reply. "My mum said the best bit of her job," Katie said quietly as she reached Jed, "was seeing what had once been an idea in her head there in front of her for the first time." "And I know how she felt," Jed replied, staring at the black tower. "Let's get those people out of here, shall we?" Katie nodded. Fox was waiting for them back inside. "We need to make it easy for everyone to reach here," Jed said. "There's just one problem." "Isn't there always?" Fox said with a smile. "The only entrance to here is on level 347, Katie explained. "If Swenson has done the same as he did between Orange and Red, he will have barricaded it and put in forces to stop anyone entering." "Just like the barricade we put up on our side, then," Fox said with a rueful smile. "Can you and your men help us break down both barricades?" Jed asked. Fox rubbed his stubbly chin. "You do realise that once we open up that entrance, those enforcers will throw everything they can at us to destroy that bridge?" Jed and Katie nodded. Fox whistled softly. "Looks like building the bridge was the easy bit." "There's also something else," Jed said. Fox's eyes narrowed. "Oh, you said there was just one problem." "It's all part of the same rather large one," Jed went on. "Katie is the only person left from Red aside from Swenson." "What?" Fox said quietly. "Well, that's why the engineers suddenly disappeared. Swenson had them all killed. It means that no one knows where you are or how to reach here." "Everyone in Red," said Fox. "Everyone," Katie confirmed. Jed noticed a change in Fox. He clearly enjoyed the challenge of constructing the bridge, but this news suddenly brought it home just how serious things were. "So how many refugees are there?" Fox asked. "Thousands," Jed answered. "We don't know exactly." "And how are they getting here?" "At the moment they'll be using the stairs." "Stairs?" "There are hidden stairwells on every floor that doesn't grow," Jed explained. "Swenson knows about them, but not where they all are. The orange lifts have been blocked, but once the mass arrives, they'll give up and come over to our side. It's what happened in Yellow. In the meantime, the refugees will use any chutes or pipes they can, from waste to water to recycling." "And they're already in Orange?" Jed nodded. "Oh, that's something in our favour then," Fox said. He looked around, seeing his youngest brother on the bridge. "Hey, Phillips," he shouted. "Time to switch hats. Bring your screwdriver." "Sorry," Phillips muttered from behind the company screen. The back was off the device, with wires and components strewn everywhere. "With more time, I would have rigged up a camera. As it is, well, this'll have to do." He fiddled at the back, and suddenly words scrolled endlessly across the screen. "Message from Jed. Go to Red 347. Phillips climbed out from behind and nodded in satisfaction at his handiwork. Well, they'll see this all through red and orange, just like we saw their pictures. Swenson will probably pull the plug on the system to stop it, but with any luck enough people will have seen it by then. Katie was staring silently at the screen, her expression unreadable. That's how Swenson invited all the Reds to the ballroom, she said at last. Going to another formal party was the last thing I wanted to do. Instead, I sneaked to my mum's lab. She didn't like me being in there on my own, but I knew they'd be too busy to miss me and no one would disturb me. Perfect for some time on my own. I just didn't realise that time would be forever. Philip shifted from one foot to the other awkwardly. Katie turned to face them. We can't let him win. We can't. Come on, Fox said. Let's make a door for all those people. Jed felt like it had taken forever to break through from the construction levels into red. As Phillips had predicted, their message was removed from the screens not long after he had set it loose, and since then the screens had remained blank and dead. Jed looked behind him. A clear path lay straight through the building site to the bridge. In front of him was a team of men with jackhammers who'd just finished attacking the wall. Fox had decided it would be easier to make a new entrance away from the old one, as not only did it leave a clear run to the bridge, it was also likely to be away from any enforcer fortifications. They turned to look at Fox. He in turn checked the teams of men arranged either side, tools gripped in their hands, not for construction, but as weapons. Satisfied, Fox then motioned to Francis, who steered a huge power loader forwards towards the weakened wall. Poor old Francis, Phillips hissed in Jed's ear as he fiddled with the strange-looking contraption fashioned from multiple electric prods. He thought it was an honour to be asked to drive that infernal piece of machinery. Truth is, he was the only one stupid enough to say yes. The bucket at the front of the power loader hit the concrete with an echoing clang, and the wall toppled forward. It crashed down in a billowing cloud of dust. Around him, Jed could feel the men tense, waiting for the assault by the white-clad enforcers. But no one came through the wreckage towards them. And as the dust settled, they could see an empty landing ahead of them, its drapes and hangings wrecked. Francis began to push through the remains of the wall to clear the opening. You, Fox pointed to two teams. Take the corridors either side. At the first sign of trouble, fall back. We'll hold them here. The men nodded and charged past the digger. Almost immediately, one of the teams came running back. There's a huge group coming down the corridor. Looks like trouble. Jed grabbed a metal bar from a stack along with countless other builders. Next to him, Katie's face was set hard. Jed turned the bar over in his hands and thought back to Trevor. Despite the violence that could break out on the recycling floor, his team never once had to fight like this. Trevor always found a way to make sure the opposition was scared off with as little hurts to either side as he could manage. Then again, he'd never had to face Swenson. This is it, Fox shouted, and the men charged to stations around the opening, while in the middle, Francis manoeuvred his power loader dead centre. Jed wished it didn't have to be like this. Wasn't the mass enough to fight without creating more problems? Thank you very much for listening to The Rainbow Tower. To see more of R H Stewart's excellent artwork, you'll find him on Instagram at roy.hootson.stewart. For Alex Tymms, why not try the novel OutCaste at ao3.com? Or, for something completely different, check out the Amier series on YouTube or at amier.com, also by Alex Tymms. The Rainbow Tower. Text copyright Alex Tymms. Illustrations copyright R H Stewart. The right of Alex Tymms and R H Stewart to be identified as the author and illustrator of this work has been asserted in accordance with the Copyright Designs and Patents Act 1988.